Hey there everybody, Dustin here. Today I'm going to go over LifeFiles and show you guys how that works. We're going to talk about the practitioner side of the fence as well as the salesperson side of the fence, the rep side of the fence. I'm going to start today within the sales portal. I'm going to use Jeff as a dummy account. He has historical information in there, so I'll go ahead and pull from that. Just a couple of notes. Anybody who has been registered with Pharmakeo prior to June 25th will already be in quote-unquote LifeFiles as historic information. So they're already registered. All I'll do is send them a username and password upon request from the PDS. So PDS needs to request LifeFiles login information for practitioners that were established prior to June 26th. After June 26th, we're gonna register directly in LifeFiles. The function is the same. Still go to pharmakeo.com, fill out the practitioner application form, and then we'll on the back end register them and distribute their login information to you as well as the practitioner. So, and again, we'll distribute this URL up here to you guys. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to log in. I'm logging in under Jeff's fake account. This is the sales portal. So you log in here, you're going to have a home screen. I'm about a day away from adding a bunch of tabs in here that will encompass our product lines, and information will be available there per our product line. So on the left-hand side is our navigation menu. Control panel, there's only one option here. There's the sales order list, which you'll also notice is here as well. We can add permissions in here in the future, but starting out, the sales order list pharmacy view is what you will have access to. My mail, this is a way to communicate securely between you and the pharmacy. So if we have an issue or you need to add any type of information upon an order, you can go ahead and do that in here. It functions just like Outlook, except for here you can only add people that are within the organization. So I could email Robbie, and it would pull up Robbie's information as part of the pharmacy here. Here in a second. Right, so we put that in there. We can upload files here if we'd like. It will prompt you to upload a file. If you're referencing an order or a prescription number, that would be displayed here. And then type your message down there. And again, this is secure. So now I'm going to go down to our sales order list. This is where you will spend the most of your time. We can specify the report dates here. You'll notice I have 6/29 to 6/29. In any type or in any practitioner that is tied to your name will be listed here. So you'll notice that Dr. Dana Morgan from Balance Health has ordered testosterone, RDT for this patient. We have some filters up here that we can apply: date range, prescription number. You can sort by doctor, last name, first name is how that works. And then as we grow and we add salespeople underneath ourselves, you'll be able to filter by salesperson. Currently, Jeff is only a salesperson, so he only has access to his account or his accounts. And again, as we get bigger and we add our 503B, Pharmakeo compounding will be the A, and then Pharmakeo outsourcing will be the B. So you can filter it down that way as well. So this screen, let me run this report for a bigger date range, just so we have more information. This report is probably your bread and butter. You'll see your total sales here, total number of prescriptions, total number of orders, and number shipped. Now the reason that 0 is shipped right now is that we just launched LifeFiles on the 27th, so we haven't had a lot of processing time in LifeFiles yet, but when these as of the 26th, we're fully processing in LifeFiles, so this number will increase. Also, I do want to point out the difference between total RXs and total orders. The way LifeFiles treats the order, or treats prescriptions, is you can have multiple prescriptions within a single order. The way that the old system processed it is one order equals one prescription. But in LifeFiles, you're able to have one order number that contains 10 different prescription numbers, essentially. So that's the difference there. Let's see, total sales. This is the total gross pharmaceutical sales that you have. I'm currently adding a column right here that will include the commissions total. So you'll be able to see your actual take-home dollars from commissions on that one. So those are those bars up here. So if you go down here, we can dive into an order. So you'll notice again, the order date was 6/1, order ID, salesperson, doctor name, practice name, and actually the patient is here as well. This RX type that I'm looking at, that will change depending on what stage the order is in. So every order is going to start out with new being the status, and that will change along the path of processing. Again, this order was 6/1, so that is previous to this the 6/26 switch, and so this isn't going to have any type of information in it that is active, if that makes sense. This is historic data. And then you'll see the order status here is completed order. So we can click this view order, and we'll actually get to see the demographic information about this order. Make my screen a little bigger here. Okay. So you'll notice the practitioner has the ability to set the priority, as well as the priority, which indicates the shipping. So they'll be able to send priority overnight orders in the system. Then we'll have basic prescriber information here, and then patient information here, as well as the RX information and what it was for. Testosterone, RDT based is this one. 90-day supply, 200 milligrams, and then the SIG, which is the instructions for that. Scrolling back up to the top, you'll be able to see order notes. So let's get a real order if we can. Sort by order date. See if we got any data here. There we go. So we got 2 live orders. You'll notice that this is complete processing. So this order has been processed in the system, and it is awaiting fulfillment. So if we expand our date range here, maybe to 27th, we could see some examples of other ones. So this one is in the filling station, as well as this one is in the filling station. So you can tell that this order is getting ready to be shipped. And once it's shipped, the order status will change to shipped, and the RX status will also say switch to ship. Okay, so going in here, we can view the order. And again, I clicked view order right there. Again, demographic information as well as product information down here on the bottom. Scrolling back up, we can look at order notes. And this is from the bottom up. So the top line right here is going to be your most recent order. Your most recent action to the order. And down here is going to be the start of the order. So you'll see today at 6:28 at 9:13 a.m., Jillian Smith, order received via call. Now, you'll look here, empty order created. 1 page was added via file, which I'll reference here in a minute. And then here you'll see your salesperson transaction. So the order salesperson record was Jeff, so the RX was scheduled, and then after that, the RX commission was credited to Jeff. Scrolling up, you'll see, and again, you'll see the username here. So Robbie was able to create an invoice transaction, and that is what is displayed right here, the payment up here. This is this is automatically sent to the practitioner when they complete the order. So you'll look at this and we'll actually see a warning that credit card transaction could not be processed. And all that means is that he tried to run the card and there's a AVS mismatch, which means that the zip code was not correct on the billing address. So he's going to verify that and re-execute this order. Normally, obviously, you're not going to see the warning, but that's the kind of detail that you're able to see with LifeFiles. So here, we're going to look at payment, and we can view that document. It looks like he tried to rerun the card. Well, it's the same document there. He's waiting on payment right now. Again, this is a live order that he's processing, so any additional steps to this order would be notated up here. And then you can see that it's in the filling station ready for shipment. So once this invoice is paid, that will ship, and then you will see a shipping note up here as well as the tracking number. The tracking number will be hyperlinked. So all you got to do is click up here and the tracking number, or click on the tracking number, and you'll be taken to the FedEx site for tracking. It looks like, again, since we launched this only 2 days ago and I'm using Jeff's account, I don't think we have much information to go on. I wanted to give an example of the hyperlink, but due to the nature of we just launched, I don't think that's going to be possible right now. But anyway, these are your filters up here. If you know a specific RX number, you can put that in there. Doctor, last name, first name, and also patient. So if you have an actual patient that's looking for information, you can enter their information there. So this is the main report you're going to use, the sales order list. It's very powerful. And again, I'm customizing a column in here to show your actual commissions for a certain period. So you'll be able to see that. Sales reports, these are a couple, ancillary reports. We'll have the commission report in here as well. But the most important one, I would say, is the doctor's link to salesperson. And once we submit that report, we'll see all the doctors that are linked to your sales account. Again, you'll see a lot of duplicates in here, and that is just because this is a demo account and this isn't actually live yet as it pertains to Jeff and his user account. But you'll see all the practitioners associated with Jeff. So when you go in and you want to verify that you're getting commissions on a certain practitioner, run this report, make sure it's there. If it's not there, email us and we'll make sure it's there. So that's the doctor's link to salesperson report right there. And there's some other reports in here. RX info by date, that'll show you your all your prescriptions that have been sent, etc., etc. Salesperson list, that'll just show you all the different salespeople in the organization. So I'm going to be done with the sales side of LifeFiles, and I'm going to transition into the doctor side of LifeFiles and what it will be for the doctor to create their account and to log in. So I'm going to go over here to pharmakeo.com. Again, if your doctor's been created prior to the 26th, they're already going to be in our system. However, if they are onboarded after the 26th, I'm already logged in, so let me log out. The login or the register button here will be the same. Once we get that information, the prescriber login will take us to LifeFiles. This is currently not active, but as we pull the plug on, let's see, that'll be July 9th, 8th or 9th, that will actually be active here. I'm sorry, July 2nd next week is when we're going to pull the plug for practitioners. And that'll be linked to LifeFiles. So when they click this button, they'll be taken to this screen. I'm going to just log in as a practitioner. Log in, and this is what they're going to see. Again, we're adding tabs currently right now. I should have those in at the end of the day, but it'll function the same way as a web page. So you'll see nice imagery, some good content. Basically, we're taking all the content from the existing portal and putting it in here. So on the left-hand navigation side, you'll see the practitioner's name. It's in yellow because EPCS, Electronic Prescribing of Controlled Substances, is enabled on Terry. That's the fob for controlled substance ordering. I'll address that later in this recording. But this will turn yellow when that is active. You'll see the user ID right here. Oops, right there. Last login, failed login, so on and so forth. So everything in LifeFiles is based off the control panel right here. So I'm going to click that and show you some options on here. We're going to have patient search, so you can search your patient database. If they are using another EMR, obviously, we can import that patient data. That's not going to be a problem. We'll do a secure file transfer protocol for that. And I can get with individuals offline on that to just walk through that process. ERX right here. That's how we're going to actually prescribe a medication. We'll get to that in a second. Easy refill right here. That's how we're going to refill a medication. Office use, that's going to be active shortly. My information, that's going to show us the practitioner's information. My practice information right here is going to show us practice demographics. The primary practice there. There's nothing in my preferences yet because there's nothing to preference right now. Everything is defaulted. Now, I recommend people stay away from the document management side of things. The only reason is it can get complicated. The only time you would need to use this is for script scan for controlled substances. There's nothing wrong with still filling out the form and the pellet form, signing it, and sending it to the pharmacy. It does not matter. They're still going to have access to that. But they do have the ability to scan directly into LifeFiles and not have to fax it or scan to email and then send the email. Rx status, I'm going to go ahead and click into here. And this is where you'll see the status of all your prescriptions. So you'll see the date and time that the prescription was submitted, order number here, the status. You'll notice that complete processing. This order is ready for fulfillment. And then you'll notice this status down here that is completed orders. So this order has been actually shipped. Again, notice this is 6/11. We only went live 6/26, and you'll see that this order was deleted here. It was a test order. But you'll notice this one right here, right there, order number ending in 798 is in processing right now. So we have a couple action buttons over here. The first one being View Doc. So this is where we can actually see the order. Now this format is this is a SureScript format. So you'll notice up here it says e-prescription. So that means that it's coming from SureScripts. Let's see if I can find an example of a fax. Maybe here. Oh, that's a test order. If I can't find a fax order here, I think I can. Yeah, that's a test one. But the scanned in document will show under here, so you can see exactly what was ordered and who signed it, so on and so forth. Again, that'll be more prevalent the more time that we continue processing in LifeFiles as opposed to the previous software. And the next button is Actions. In the Action section is View Detail. And what this is we can see the notes on this specific order. Now you'll notice there's no notes right now, only because this is in processing right now. After it's in processing, you'll see who filled it, etc., etc. If there's additional notes found on it or additional notes added to it, then you'll be able to see a history of who's touched this order, as well as the tracking number will be hyperlinked right in here. A big benefit to practices is they can actually add notes here to their order. So if I needed to ship ASAP and I click submit, that note would be added to the order. So as soon as the pharmacist or a technician opens that order, that note would appear and they would know to ship it as soon as possible. So you can add notes after they've been submitted, after the orders have been submitted. Going back to our control panel, again, that was RX status, so we can check the status of submitted orders. EPCS right here is only going to be enabled if the practitioner signs up for the IDEN Trust fob, IDEN Trust, T-R-U-S-T, and I'll go over that later in this recording. So if they don't have that enabled, this whole line will be inactive, deleted. They won't even see it. Down here, they have access to secure mail. This is much like the sales portal. They can send secure mail to the pharmacy or to their rep using this in here. They have access to reports, which I'll click on. They can see a list of prescriptions by date range. They can also see their shipping report here, as well as the invoices. So if we want to execute this command for today, there's no data in today. Let's go back to the start of the week. You can see that we had one prescription in here, 4-Nature Thoroid, invoiced for $39.60 right over here. So this is a good way for the practices to be able to reconcile in real time without waiting or calling the pharmacy to send an invoice or whatever. Again, that invoice will be sent automatically when the order is processed, but this is another way for them to go back and look at historic invoices. You can run a master patient list report, so on and so forth, all in this screen. So I'm going to go back to the control panel. Again, control panel is referenced here. Going to the next line. So a big component, and probably a major component that you all need to be aware of, is LifeFiles uses Java. And what Java does is it's an interface between a website and the printing devices. So if they want to print orders, which they will have to for controlled substances if they do not have the fob, they will need to enable Java. So there's 2 steps to this. Number 1, it's very easy. Just go to your browser, type in Java, enter, and you'll notice on the first result we got install Java download right here. Do that. That's step 1. You will have to restart your computer, no big deal, but we need to download and install Java. Once Java is installed, step 2 is to execute the desktop client setup. So clicking on that, it detects that I'm running on Windows, and I would click this. Notice it's a link right here, and it would start the download process. That's all you have to do. 2 steps. Step 1, install Java. Step 2, install desktop client. And what that will allow you to do is for the website to talk to the pre-installed print devices, print orders for signature, print receipts, so on and so forth. Very important. Desktop client. Java. Very important. Okay. So moving forward, I've covered the entire control panel. You can go here and see my profile and get a shortcut to some of the things that we just said, as well as jump straight to the reports right here. This button right here and this button right here, they're the same. 2 places where you can get information. So the next thing I'm going to go over is how to submit an order to the pharmacy. So we do that by clicking ERX here, but again, if we're on the control panel, ERX here is the same button. So I click that. You'll notice that it's prompting me to select a patient. Up here, patient selection. So let's go ahead and take test 1, and I'm going to just select him right here. So his information has pulled up in here, his address, cell phone number, as well as his driver's license identification number. For controlled substances, you must have the driver's license number. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And it all goes to recall. If the product needs to be recalled, the person or the pharmacy needs to be able to contact the patient. The question arises, office use. How do I submit an office use order? Well, we can go over here. We need to deselect this patient here by clicking the X button. And we're going to go here and click New Patient. So for office use, we would do, you need to say the practice name for the first name. So let's call it Avexius Medical. Last name is going to be office use. This is very important because we need to differentiate which practice office use is. We would select a date of birth that is very fictitious. So 1918, clearly that is 01/01/1918 for a patient is clearly fictitious. We'll select a gender. We'll select identification type, driver's license. We'll make up a number here. And then we will make up, well, we're not going to make up, we're just going to choose whichever state they're in. All right, so you'll see address field is required. We're just going to boom there. So we got address here, city, zip, and state. We need to select the state down here. Okay, now that we have all that created, we could save patient and get out of there. So you'll see that patient information is selected. Excellent. Oops, I'm sorry, it's going to flag me over here for an email and a cell phone. So just put my Vexius in. Okay, and now I'll save the patient. And you'll notice here, first name of Avexius Medical, last name, office use. Okay, again, we are creating an order. What we just covered was creating a new patient right here. But say our patient is existing. Say this patient is existing, we need to create an order for office use. I'm going to use test 1 as an example for this because it is patient specific. So I click that. You'll notice over here my patient is selected. I'm then going to select ERX. My demographic information comes in. That's great. That's awesome. And we're going to do this from the top of the sheet down. So the first section is order processing information. We need to assign a priority to the order right here. So normal is going to be the standard processing. Urgent is going to be expedited, but still not must go out. Stat, that means it has to go out today. That being said, if there's a stat order submitted at 4:45 p.m., it is not going to be able to go out that day. If there's a stat order submitted at noon, it will go out that day. Just keep that in mind. Normal priority. Now we're going to select the delivery information right here. Most of the time, we're going to select ground, and if this is not selected, we're going to ship it as standard shipping. So that'll be 2-day, FedEx 2-day, or U.S. Postal Service regular. Right? But they do have the ability to say that they want it FedEx overnight, priority overnight. Right? DEA number is based on the practitioner that's placing the order, so that's Terry's DEA number. And again, patient demographic information has pulled over, as well as our driver's license there. Next section is delivery shipping information. This is extremely simple to do. You will either copy the patient information, and you'll notice that their shipping information copies down, 123 Fake Street, or you can select doctor's information, and you'll see that this will be shipped to Terry's address, Terry's clinic right there. So that's how you differentiate where it is shipped. You can save the shipping preference for this patient, and right here it's going to be blank, but if I save this, the next time they'll have this preference set for this patient. So it will default to whatever you say the preference is. So if this patient only gets their medication sent to their home, you can default that on a patient-by-patient basis. So now that all of our information is entered here, notice our delivery information transposed down here to priority. We can now add the medication to the order. I missed something. I missed my cell phone. All right. Okay, now we can proceed. Now, here is where we're editing medication information. So you can see that status at the top of the screen. There's a couple different things we can do here. One, we can look at the patient medication history. Two, we can look at my RX list, which is preferred medications. These can be set up individually by the practice using this link down here. All right, so if a practice prescribes, a top 3 product list, they can create a list here that says top 3. And when they click my RX list, the top 3 will be in here. Currently, I do not have anything selected for Terry. That's fine, no big deal. You'll notice here, we break down our products by category. So IV therapies, healthy aging, etc. We're in the process of adding the products here, but I do have products added in the BHRT category. Notice we have estradiol, and we have testosterone with triamcinolone. If I want to order testosterone, I'm going to click it, and then I have the different strengths available to me here. Now I click T200. Right here with the quantity, it defaults to the most commonly used dose for that medication strength. So you'll notice 9 in our front spot here, but if I go to 62.5, 1, because most people aren't ordering 9 62.5s for a single patient. For an office use patient, for an office use order, that's fine. We can just simply select in there. That'll be our quantity. And then you'll notice it goes green, and the quantity selected is 50. And again, those are for office use orders. Then we just go down the list. Our directions are good, and we're going to go ahead and click Add to Order right over here. Notice what happened here. We now have 1 medication in our order. Also notice what happened here is our estradiol pellets went away. And that is because controlled substances and non-controlled substances may not be ordered on the same prescription. I'll repeat that. Controlled substances and non-controlled substances may not be ordered on the same order. That being said, you may order multiple controlled substances on the same order, and you can order multiple non-controlled substances on the same order. They just cannot be mixed. So you'll notice here, I can add more pellets to this order, and I can do that. So here, look at this, orders, medications in current order, add to order, now our order goes to 2. Okay? So we can do that pretty easily, no problem. Now I just clicked on this up here, medications in current order, and I can see the 2 medications in this order. Now, once we add all our medications, it's time to review and sign. So I'm going to click this. This is Terry's account, so you can see up here that EPCS is enabled, and it's going to flash a warning that says, hey, you got to make sure that this is really correct and this is really you signing. And once you verify your order, click down here in the lower right hand corner, sign, and you'll see that Terry's OTP token name and IdenTrust OTP password come into play. After I get out of this screen, I'm going to finish up a couple housekeeping items on the practitioner side, and then I'm going to move to showing you how to set up the OTP username. Okay, so I'm not going to submit this order, so I'm going to click cancel, and I'm going to click back. And you'll notice that pending orders there's no pending orders because I just deleted that order. One more thing that I want to touch on this side is the patient controls that you can do. So we have currently selected test 1 patient. If we come down here to patient actions, we can click that, and all of these actions pertain to this individual patient. So anything in here pertains to this patient and this patient only. So if I click ERX, that would prescribe a medication for this patient. If I pressed Easy Refill, that would submit a refill for this patient. If I clicked RX History, this would show this patient's RX history. Now, the real part that I wanted to show you this is the refill reminder, medication reminder, and auto refill. Refill reminder, if we click into here, will set an automatic reminder at any date that you want. Click that. There we go. And medication, you select the one that you want the reminder on, and this is how many times you want the reminder, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, so on and so forth, and at what date you want it on. So I want 1 refill reminder on the 28th. If I select 2, 3, it would give me 3 reminders on this date. It would also prompt me to select what time, so you can set what time you want the refill reminder. And it will also ask you for the delivery method of the reminder. We can have email, text, or call. I am currently working on setting up the robocall, and it's just basically, hey, such and such patient name, take your refill reminder is in. Time to reorder. Okay, so those are refill reminders, and I want to contrast that with the medication reminders. So the medication reminders are a little bit different in terms of we can add a reminder, and that reminder is for the patient to actually take their medication. So they would select the medication. Let's pretend this says progesterone. Obviously they don't need a reminder for their testosterone pellets, but let's say this is progesterone. You can select the frequency, daily, weekly, and then number of days. This means every single day. If you select 2 here, that is every other day, so on and so forth. And if I select 3, that's every 3rd day. You can select the start date and the end date. If you need to, you won't need to do this currently with our current product offerings, but the first dose, if you want to set that at, let's say it's LDN, and you want to take that before bed, so 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time would be 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, so let's adjust that. Just keep in mind everything's Eastern on this. So 9 p.m. would be 8 p.m. Central, and then again we select what type of modality we want this delivered. This message delivered: call, email, text message. Most people like the text message. They're more apt to open a text message as opposed to an email or answer a call from an unknown number. So text message is generally your best way to do that. This helps with patient compliance. If there's a patient who's not taking their medication or just forgets, having a text reminder on their phone is very beneficial. Okay, so again, we've covered all these different areas. We've covered how to submit an RX here, also here. We've talked about how to do a refill here, also here. It looks the exact same, or very similar. So we would select the medication in here. Obviously this is a test patient, so there's not any medications historically to refill. Okay, we talked about RX status. I'm going to click into there one more time because this is a very powerful section to where you can set, or you can see the status of your actual orders. And you'll notice since we were in the screen last, we actually have a new order here from Terry. So we can view that document hopefully. And we can see the actual scanned document, the IV kit that was ordered by Terry. So you can see the physical copy of that. And we should be able to see a little bit of detail on here. Not yet because it hasn't been processed. That, again, once it's processed, you'll see the details on there. You can also add those notes again one more time from the physician to the pharmacy for any type of information that needs to be sent to the pharmacy. I used this one time when I needed an order to go out the exact same day, sent that note in, guess what, went out the exact same way. Okay, so now we've covered the entire section of the physician portal to LifeFiles. The next portion I'm going to talk about is how to set up your practice for, it's called an OTP username, but essentially what that means is how do you set up your practice for key fob integration for controlled substances, so token integration. So the company that LifeFile uses is called identrust.com. Again, right up here, IDEN as an identity trust.com. We're going to go onto that URL, and this is the screen that we're going to see, and we're going to select right here, healthcare. We're going to scroll all the way to the bottom. Don't get distracted. Scrolling all the way to the bottom, and we get to LifeFile right here. We're going to go ahead and click LifeFile. Again, all disclaimers, all yada yada stuff. Right here, you'll see $109. Do not say that it costs $109 to sign up. At the end of the day, it costs about $235-ish to sign up. Less than $250, but $230 range, maybe $240 depending on the state tax. All right? Because you need to get in, the reason for that is you need to get this SafeNet OTP token, which adds $68. And then you have to have an OTP service license, which adds another $60. So the total addition for those integrations is $128. So you add $128 to $109, and that's the cost for electronic prescribing of controlled substances through LifeFile. I'm currently working on getting that price down through a bulk order, but as of today, day 1, June 29th, that is $230 some odd to sign up for that. Okay, take note of this SafeNet OTP token. Next step is we're just going to click buy, and it's going to take us to a new screen. You will need to do this in Internet Explorer when you actually set up the device. You can order the device not being in Internet Explorer, but to set up the device, you will need to be in Internet Explorer. I'm going to click out of that, and it's going to give us an overview right here of all the steps that we need to do. Step 1, we need to apply, which is what we're doing right now. Step 2, we need to get verified. We don't need to do anything on this step. This is the company that's doing that will do the background check, and it will identify you. It will verify you. Step 3 is retrieve our certificate, which will be done by the practitioner. The languaging here is all certificate. So they certify you through the key fob. So you're not applying for a key fob, you're applying for a certificate that is being transmitted through the key fob. So just keep in mind that languaging, it's not ever going to say key fob or dongle or anything like that. It's a certificate through the key fob. So this one, the company will mail to you within 3 to 5 business days, and the practitioner will physically receive this device at their home address with instructions on how to set up. Follow the instructions to the T, and then it will be set up. If they do not follow the instructions, they will have to reapply and repay the fees, and it's a nightmare to do that. Don't do that. Second comment to the retrieve your certificate status is create the same username and password for all the different questions. So it's going to ask you 3 or 4 different times for a username and password to set up. Keep it the same. It will make your life easier, and it will not cause confusion. Okay? So this voucher right here, once I negotiate a bulk deal, we'll actually be able to provide the physician a voucher code that will allow them to pay nothing or pay a lower rate. But again, that's still being negotiated. At this point, we want to select our hardware type, which again, remember, we talked about the SafeNet OTP token on the previous screen. We got to buy that. And you'll notice here, it adds the 60. So once we get there, we can click Next. In this screen, I'm not going to go any further on this screen because you'll be filling out the provider information as well as payment information on this area. So it bases everything off a social security number right here. It's secure. Date of birth, photo ID numbers. So it's going to be a driver's license or state ID, but obviously driver's license will be most common. And all this demographic information. After we do that, we would go to the payment section and then the form section. And this is where they sign all their legal documents saying, I am who I say I am, and I will only use this token myself. I highly recommend for the practitioner not to give their token to an MA to order pellets. That is against the terms and conditions of the Iden Trust agreement, and it is also a very, very gray area for ordering. The MA can totally fill out the orders and place them, but the practitioner should only hold the fob, not the MA. And the practitioner should be the one that clicks the button to get the code to verify the orders for shipment. I mean, that's the safest way you can do it. You'll notice here that the certificate validity is 2 years in length, and then you'll also see our hardware cost here, which is the actual key fob. Again, once that is active, or once this information is filled out, we would click the next button and continue the application process. So that is all I have to say on that. Let's go back to our doctor portal here, make sure I covered everything in the control panel. Search, information, practice, yep, everything looks good. Again, the EPCS options will only be available for practitioners who have completed the Iden Trust process that I just referenced. And again, key point, remember to set up Java here. Step 1, install Java on the local computer. Step 2, install desktop client setup. Okay, we talked about how to order here. We would select ERX. Remember, our patient is here. If we did not select a patient, the system will prompt us to select a patient here. I would select the patient, click here for ERX, verify patient information here, specify delivery information here, and then I would either, I need to specify shipping information here. I can ship it to the patient or I can ship it to the doctor. Copy doctor, shipping information goes to the doctor. Copy patient, shipping information sends the order to the patient. After that is verified, again referencing special instructions if there needs to be any. Once that's done, we're going to go to medication information. Oh, see, forgot something here. Okay, cell phone number there. Moving on, medication information. Remember, you have the preferred list, which the doctor can set up here and assign their preferred list here. You have the patient medication history, which this patient has no medications. You can also see medications in current order, which there are none. But we break down, the primary place that they're going to go is to the pharmacy lists right here, in which we break down the products by category. So BHRT is going to give me testosterone pellets and estradiol pellets. Click accordingly, fill out the buttons, boom, 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 add to order, review and sign, and then it's submitted. Again, since this is a summary, I'm not going to go into detail on that. And this is showing you that you're going to cancel that RX, so that RX will not be found again. All right, so that concludes the video training for LifeFiles. Look forward to opening it up and running it with you guys. Thank you.